Hello, everyone. So welcome to week 3 of balance and posture. Let me take my mask off so you all can see me. So I think everybody knows by now my name is Roberta, and this week we are actually going to focus on head and neck posture. So first week we did ankle and foot. Second week we did hip and core, and each of those are of course really key to balance and creating a good posture in the body. Head and neck and shoulders are also a really good area to focus on as far as posture is concerned. And head and neck especially and shoulders are very key as far as spine posture goes. A lot of us end up with very forward heads. You know, if we're doing a lot of work at the desk, especially now when all of us are working from home, or driving or gardening, pretty much any of those tasks where you're having to look down, you can see how the head really goes forward of the shoulders, like what I'm demonstrating right here. So that in turn means that the weight of the head is not well supported. So we are going to first show you an exercise to correct that forward head position. So Jessica, I'm going to go ahead and talk you through this next exercise. Can you go ahead and show chin to top of throat? So go ahead and relax for me. So Jessica, I'm going to get in here and correct you a little bit. What we want is chin to top of throat. Good. And relax. What you did before was chin to chest. So you can see how I am really bringing my neck down and closing down the front of the throat. That's not what we want. We just want that simple little creation of a double chin. Good. So go ahead and show that a couple more times. Yeah, that looks really good. Now from here, keep that double chin in place, and I want you to bring your head towards my hand. Good. So now when we check Jessica's ear, it's lined up right over her shoulder. That's exactly where it should be. Go ahead and relax. And most of us are not used to having our head in that position. We're used to having it a little bit more forward. But this exercise is a really nice one to do at your desk, in your car, whenever you have a minute, just to sort of retrain that head position over your shoulders. So we're going to keep that in our mental file index. We're going to come back to that later. The next thing that most people need to fix is slumped shoulders. So again, with all of the activities that we talked about, which whether it's working at a desk, driving, gardening, or any of the activities where we tend to do a lot of leaning forward, I'm going to demonstrate. So just watch for now, and then we'll give you an exercise in a moment. So people, of course, tend to do very slumped over posture. Now, of course, nobody wants to walk around like this. We've all been told by parents, teachers, coaches at different points in our life, you know, straighten up. So what people will do, you know, if they spend enough time with their shoulders in this sort of slumped posture, their shoulder posture muscles are actually too weak to try and correct that whole thing. So what people will do instead is they will come into a back bend. So what you can see now is that I'm bending quite a bit through my lower back. And I feel like my chest is open, and I feel like my shoulders are open and in a nice position. But in reality, if I get rid of the back bend, I'm still in that slumped shoulder posture. So all I've done is add on a back bend to go with that. So instead of doing the back bend, what I'm going to show you is how you truly realign those shoulder muscles. So I'm going to demonstrate first, and then we're going to do it together. You're going to take your hand, and you're going to find the lower part of the opposite shoulder blade, and you're going to press down into it. So Jessica is doing that too. Let's go ahead and do that together. You're going to press down and in towards the middle. So Jessica, go ahead and do another 10 of those for me. So we're all going to do this together. This is 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So now, of course, we've got to do the other side. And we'll go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And relax. So that was a nice job. And those shoulder posture muscles should now be feeling a little bit more warm and ready to go. So, of course, we did all this talking about how people tend to end up in a slumped back posture. So now we're going to warm up the lower back and get it into a nice position. So Jessica, let's go ahead and do some spine roll downs. So this is the same one that we've been doing over the past couple of weeks. You're going to start with the top of your head, chin to chest, and slowly rolling down through the upper back, mid back, and lower back, one bone at a time. Good. You're going to end up in ragdoll position over those legs. And then starting at the tailbone, unroll one bone at a time. Now, of course, if this does not feel good on someone's back, you're only going to go into the range of motion that feels good for you. Jessica, let's go ahead and do that again. That looks beautiful. Yeah, bending forward can be a tender position for some of us. So if doing this full on does not feel good, by all means, go ahead and skip it. Or just do what you can. Nice. I'm going to have you now, Jessica, scoot all the way back in the chair so that your back is touching the chair. And I'm going to have you peel down bone by bone one more time. Good. Then as you roll down through your mid back, your back is going to peel off the chair. And you're going to end up in that ragdoll position just like you did before. Good. And then come on up one bone at a time. And right about there, I'm going to pause you. Let's see if we can keep this space between your back and the chair as you continue to roll up. Good. So what I did was I stopped Jessica and made sure that she kept that good back position. We did a lot of work last week on making sure that your back is not too far bent. So when I look at Jessica's hips, they're pretty even. Front and back are nice and even. So that's going to be a good thing to do. Maybe do one more spine roll down and roll up, and make sure at the end that your hip feels fairly level. So Jessica, we're going to do that one more time, making sure we come into a level hip at the end. So start down through your head. Good. And upper back. And mid back. And lower back. Yeah. So we can see at the end, this is not a neutral back position. Her pelvis is pretty flat and pretty tilted to make that flatness. So let's go ahead and come on up. Slowly, one bone at a time. Good. And Jessica, right about there, is that when you feel the weight is right over your sit bones? Yeah, so pause about halfway through your spine roll and make sure that your weight is squared. You shouldn't feel like you've got a lot of weight on your tailbone. You should not feel like you've got a lot of weight on your hamstrings. It should feel nice and square over those hip bones. Once you're there, check your hip crests, and that's when they should be level. Go ahead and come on up. That may take a little bit of practice to get the feel for it, but that's okay. So now, keeping this nice neutral back position, let's go ahead and do shoulder squeezes again. So go ahead and put your hand by that shoulder, and we're going to press down and in on that shoulder blade. And relax. And down and in. And relax. Good. Let's do 5 more of those. And 4. Good. And 3. 2. And 1. And other side. Jessica, I'm going to see if you can angle yourself so that your back is a little bit more towards the camera. So go ahead and bring your feet towards the left and bring your back. Yeah. So at home, of course, you don't have to angle yourself. This is just for the sake of the camera. Good. And press down and in. And relax. So I'm going to give you a manual cue here, Jessica. One of the things that I see people do a lot when they're doing their shoulder squeezes is they use this top of the shoulder muscle quite a lot because they're really trying to force that shoulder blade down and in. We want actually a gentler press because what we're trying to do is recruit these mid-back muscles. So I'm going to move your hand a little bit, and it's going to be a little bit lighter press. So we can see this is staying more relaxed now. Go ahead and relax and press. Good. Let's do 5 more there. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And that can be a pretty tough exercise, trying to get the shoulder blades down and back at the same time that you're controlling that lower back position. So we actually have another exercise coming up in a few minutes that will continue to help with that. So Jessica, thank you for that. Let's go ahead and turn you sideways in the chair again. Let's warm up the arms. So I'm going to have you all do this with Jessica. Go ahead and bring the arms out in front. And we're going to let the shoulder blades round forward. And then plug the arms back in. Good. Round forward. Plug the arms back in. Let's go for another 10 of these. So we're going to count down 10 and 9, 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Now I'm going to get out of the way. We're going to bring the arms out to the sides, and we're going to do the same thing. So let's see if we can bring those hands up to shoulder level. If this doesn't feel good, you can lower the angle of your arms a little bit. So go ahead and find some length out through those fingers, and then plug back in. And let's go for 10 and 9, 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Go ahead and let your arms relax for a second. So changing the position of the arms starts to recruit the shoulders more. We're now going to repeat some of our previous week's exercises, but with a different arm position. So the first thing that we're going to do is our spine sway. So that's the one where we sway forward and back. And I want you to do it this time with your arms out in front of you. So Jessica, yeah, perfect. We're going to bring the arms out in front, and then we're going to have you sway forward. Feel that weight come onto the hamstrings. Sway backwards, feel the weight onto the tailbone. And forward. And back. And forward. And back. And center. And remember when we did our spine roll down earlier, this was also the position that we wanted, was the weight perfectly centered on the sit bones, not forward onto the hamstrings, not back onto the tailbone. Go ahead and bring your arms down for a second. So let's also play with the position of our head and see how that changes the weight in our sit bones. So Jessica, I'm going to have you bring your chin forward to your chest. Good. And then I'm going to have you bring your head back up. And just do that with Jessica and notice how it changes the weights on those sit bones. So Jessica, go ahead and bring your head forward again, chin to chest, and then head centered back over shoulders. And now let's do some side to side. As much as is available in your neck, bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Good. And center. Now the temptation here is to bring shoulder to ear, but we really want ear to shoulder. Let those shoulder heads stay dropped. Let's do left ear to left shoulder. Good. And one more time, right ear to right shoulder. And notice how those sit bones feel. Left ear to left shoulder, see how those sit bones feel. And center. Now let's go ahead and do arms to the side, and we're going to do sway again. We'll see how arms to the side affects that feeling of weight through the sit bones. So let's go ahead and lean forward. Feeling the weight shift onto the hamstrings. And back, feeling the weight shift onto the tailbone. And forward. And back. And find that center again. Let the arms relax. Finding that center after various activities is a really good thing to do because it puts that pelvis in that neutral position, which is so good for the back. So now let's go ahead and do some of our foot warm-ups. So we're going to wiggle the feet to start. And now see how the feet feel as you bring your arms out in front of you. Good. Go ahead and wiggle some more. See if that changes the weight through the feet at all. Bring the arms to the side. See how that feels. Good. And relax the arms. We're going to do our piano toes next. So lift and spread and play the piano. Pinky toe comes down first and then coming in gradually one toe at a time. Let's do another set of piano toes. I'm going to bring the camera in just for a second so everyone can get a close-up view of Jessica's feet. So Jessica, go ahead and start piano toes again. Good. And one more time. And let's do the left foot. Let's do 2 on the left foot. Lift and spread and play. And lift and spread and play. Good. Now I'll move the camera back. And now let's do arms in front, and we're going to do another set of piano toes. Does that make it easier? Does it make it harder? Maybe it doesn't make a difference at all. And let's bring arms out to the sides. And let's do another 2 sets of piano toes. Good. And bring the arms down and relax. So enough time sitting. Let's go ahead and get standing. So Jessica, I'm going to have you stand on the wall up there. Good. So we're going to repeat something that we did from last week, but we're going to do more focus on the head and shoulders this time. We're going to line up lower back and upper back on the wall. And Jessica, you can go ahead and walk your feet away from the wall. So feet away from the wall is a little bit of an easier position. So now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat our chin tuck head press exercise. So this is the exercise where you pull the top of your chin towards your throat, making the double chin, and then press the back of your head into the wall. Good. And relax. So Jessica, I'm going to have you demonstrate extending and bend and try to bring the top of your head back to the wall. Yeah. And relax. So what I'm going to demonstrate, just hold and watch for a second before we start doing the exercise. I'm going to demonstrate a common mistake that people make with this. So the common mistake when people are trying to bring the back of their head to the wall is they'll actually really extend through their neck. And you see how curved her neck is there? So I'm going to drop my arm. That's a very big neck curve. That's not a good position. So we're going to get you out of that. So that's what we don't want. If you feel like you're getting your head to the wall, but you're feeling all the pressure up here or on the high part of the back of your head, that's not what we want. I would rather have you keep your head a little bit farther away from the wall and get a better position of your head. So Jessica, let's go ahead and demonstrate the correct way to do that again, which is make the double chin. Pull up the bottom of your mask a little bit just so people can see your chin. Good. So we see the double chin created, and then she's pressing through that middle of the back of her head. That's perfect. And we end up with that beautiful ear to shoulder alignment. So you can go ahead and put your mask back on, and we'll do that 5 more times. So go ahead and do this with Jessica. 5, and relax, and 4, and relax, and 3, and relax, and 2, and relax. Last one. Go ahead and keep the head in that position, and I'm going to throw you a curveball. What I want you to do now, Jessica, is I want you to keep that chin tucked, and I want you to rotate the head to the sides. So it's kind of like you're following a line with your eyes that's on the same level. So go ahead and turn your head to the side. Yeah, good, 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 good. Nice. And other way. So rotating the head with that chin tucked and that head in that pressed position is really, really good for the joints of the neck. This helps to create good posture not only when you're sitting still, but when you're moving the head. Because a lot of times, go ahead and keep going back and forth with the rotations. A lot of times we do really weird things to try and move our head. We'll pull our shoulder to ear, ear to shoulder. Our head's not going to move on a smooth plane. So it's really good for us to practice moving on this nice smooth plane. Let's go ahead and do this with Jessica. We're going to do this another 5 times. So we'll rotate 5. Good. And 4. And 3. And 2. And 1. Nice job. And just for fun, let's go ahead and repeat the exercise we did last week. So you're going to flatten your back against the wall and pull your belly in. And see if you can keep that torso nice and still. And see if you can add your chin tuck head press this week as well. So chin is going to stay pulled into double chin position, head is going to be pressed against the wall as we march the legs. Yeah, and Jessica is demonstrating hands to wall, so that'll give you a little bit more balance support. And if you don't need that extra support, you can take your hands away. Either way is okay. If you need even more support, bring your chair in front of you and touch the top of it for balance. Good. So we're going to do another 10 of these. 10. And 9. And 8. And 7. And 6. And 5. And 4. And 3. And 2. And 1. So by now the wall should really feel like it's imprinted on your back. So I'm going to have you come off the wall, but try and keep that alignment between head, shoulders, and hips. So Jessica, go ahead and come on off the wall. Good. And we can see when we look at ear, shoulder, and hip that those are all really nicely lined up. So for the next exercise, we're going to try and keep that feeling of that nice alignment between head, shoulders, and hips, but we're not going to have the wall to support us this time. So Jessica, let's go ahead and get into push-up position on the wall. So we're going to do an exercise called push-up plus. Now this is going to be on the wall, not the floor. The floor is also an option for anybody who wants to try it that way, but this is a much more supported version. And we have 2 options here. Option 1 is in a full push-up position. Option 2, if this does not feel good on your wrist, you can come to a forearm hold. Yeah, and we can see that in all these positions, Jessica is doing this beautiful job of keeping head, shoulder, and hip alignment. So, in fact, I'm going to demonstrate with a poll how well she's doing. No, you're doing really good. It's okay. Yeah, so she's got this small curve under her lower back. Her shoulders are on the pole, her hips are on the pole, her head is on the pole. That's beautiful. So from here, we're going to do a shoulder push-up. So Jessica, go ahead and squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then you're going to press away, rounding out through those shoulder blades. and squeeze, and press up. So let's do another 10, and 9. And even those of you that are doing full arms, you should only be moving through the shoulders. We should have no elbow bending. And I think we're on 6, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Good. Go ahead and come on off the wall. So the reason this is called push-up plus is we're working a different set of muscles versus regular push-ups. This is really focused more in the shoulder posture muscles. So specifically it works the serratus anterior for those of you that are anatomically minded. For those of you that are not anatomically minded, it works the muscle that helps lift the arm over the head and keep the shoulder blade aligned properly on the rib cage. So let's go into wall slides. So we're going to work the muscles that raise up your arm even a little bit more. So Jessica's going to come to forearms on the wall. Yep, and everyone's going to do forearms for this one. And then she's going to bring one foot in front of the other. It doesn't really matter which. Good. And we've still got that beautiful back alignment, although I'm going to have you pull your belly in just a little bit more. Yeah. So now, rotate your palms to face in. And what you're going to do is, keeping that back straight, you're going to slide your forearms up the wall. Good. So this time when you do that, Jessica, you're going to keep your elbows glued to the wall. And that's actually a mistake a lot of people are going to make, is pulling their elbows off the wall. It's okay to let your body come forward, but you always want to keep those elbows glued to the wall. Good. So as Jessica's doing this, and let's have you do it too, what we can see is that her shoulder blade's actually rotating. And that's what we want, because that's how we know those posture muscles are working. Good. So for those of you that need an additional challenge, let's go ahead and slide up the wall again. Good. See if you can dip forward, let those arms straighten a little bit more. If you can, squeeze the shoulder blades together, let the arms come off the wall. Yeah, so this one's pretty tough. Yeah, good. And arms back to wall. And down. So that lift off at the end is only if you can get your arms all the way off the wall. Try squeezing your shoulder blades together and lifting off at the end. Not everyone's going to be able to do that. Good. Let's do another 4 of these, because we've all been doing quite a lot of these by now. Good. Good. We have time for 2 more exercises. So let's come on off the wall. And that one, that wall slide exercise, if you're doing it right, can be pretty tiring. So usually by then we're pretty happy to sit in the chair. So let's go ahead and sit in the chair. And we're going to redo our stand to sit to stand exercise from last week. So that one, of course, really works the hips and the lower back. However, there is also an upper body component to it. We know that if the upper body is not in the right place, the lower body cannot come off the chair. So Jessica, go ahead and demonstrate the first part of the exercise as you come forward and bring your hips up off the chair. We can see that her upper body is forward over her feet, and then it stays centered over your feet as she comes up. And now let's sit, and nice and slow. So same thing, that upper body stays centered over the feet. So Jessica, I'm now going to have you demonstrate a mistake that people often make. I want you to try and keep your upper body over your hips. And I want you to try and lift your hips out of the chair like you're going to stand. So go ahead and try that. Yeah. So she can do it, but it's pretty tough. Like that didn't look nice and smooth. And go ahead and try and keep your upper body over your hips as you sit. Yeah. So you can see she's not really liking that. Yeah. So When I see people having trouble getting in and out of a chair, in and off the, or on and off the floor, or in and out of a low car, this is one of the first things I look at is the weight of the upper body being shifted forward properly. So let's go ahead and do another 3 of those exercises, this time with the weight of the upper body in its proper place. So go ahead and bring that upper body forward. Yep, and those hips come right up. Standing slowly is not so easy, but if the upper body weight is in the right place, bringing the hips up should be fairly simple. Let's go ahead and sit slowly. Good. Let's do 2 more of those. Good. So hips up and standing over a 5 count, and then sit. Good. And let's keep you standing. We're going to finish off class today with our single leg stand. So let's go ahead and go behind the chair. So option 1 for single leg stand, and I'm going to move off camera so everyone can see what Jessica's doing. So option 1 is hands should be lightly on the chair. You never want to pull the chair towards you. Yeah, you can see that Jessica's using the chair for balance support, but she's not actually putting any weight on that. So that's a safe way to do that. Option 2, so Jessica, go ahead and pick your single leg stand. Option 2 is to have the hands off the chair. Option 3, if that's too easy, is close the eyes. So pick your option and let's start. So we're going to go for a full minute. So this is 30 seconds. If you need to take a break, you can. If you can go for another 30 seconds, let's finish it out. And relax. Good job. That one can be really challenging. I didn't really have a head and neck variation of this, although centering the head and neck over the feet is important for a good single leg stand as well. Let's go ahead and switch feet and pick your option, and let's go. This is 30 seconds. If you need to take a break, you can. Otherwise, keep going. And relax. So great job, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this class. There will be class again next week at this Thursday at 3 p.m. slot. You will have a different instructor. It will be Cindy from M3, and I think that you will really enjoy her class. Everyone take care and have a good week.